Welcome to our vibrant network of governance, risk, compliance, and cybersecurity leaders. We share cutting-edge insights, best practices, and innovative strategies to empower professionals in navigating the dynamic cyber threat landscape. Join Circolo de CISO to ignite resilience and data protection across industries.
Hello, viewers. Welcome back for another episode on privacy management or privacy management. And today we're going to be talking about whether we should implement a privacy management solution. And to have this conversation, I have Divij Varma with me. Welcome back, Divij.
Hello, sir. Thanks for having me in once again.
So my question to you, Divij, right? You set out the program for us in the last episode when we spoke yesterday. And today, I would like you to tell our viewers, should they be implementing a privacy management solution? Because management solution is a pretty heavily worded term, right? It means different things to different people. So I want you to share your experience. What does this word mean, management solution? How can they achieve it in very simple steps? Over to you, Divij.
Okay. Well, the privacy management solution is nothing but the automated tools and tools available in the market that help you in managing a lot of things within your privacy program management, like simple things like how you handle your DSR, cookies and consent management, and maybe even your ROPAs, the record of processing activities that you do in your organization. Or there are solutions which can integrate, or either they do have the capabilities of doing the data scans, or they can integrate with available technologies within your organization which can do the scans and the classification and stuff. So that's what the context is for the privacy management solution. I I don't want to go in for the specific names of the tools that are available in the market, but if need be, if somebody has a query around it, I can share my thoughts. But as of now, I'll just restrict it to the overall idea around the same. Now, getting back to your question, does an organization need a privacy management solution? So the answer is yes and no. Now, this yes and no depends on the stage where you are. Something that you have already established, you have been running a privacy program within your organization. So at some point in time, yes, you would require a privacy management solution. But if you are at the stage, or you are at the very initial stage of implementing the program management solution, then I am of the school of thought that you don't really need a privacy management solution from day one. Uh, During my conversations with a lot of my peers or folks who are starting off with their journey, people think that for implementing a privacy management, or in fact privacy program, I need to have a PMS solution from day one. My thought is, you don't really need to do that, because these tools, these automations are there to aid things or enhance things that are already available, not something that they would make new. Like in our previous conversation, the discussion that we had yesterday, I talked about interacting with your stakeholders to understand the touch points, to understand the processes where and how you are collecting the data. Now, that conversation, that recording, that understanding, your privacy management solution won't do automatically. That, okay, I have a privacy management solution implemented, and it'll just maybe read my mind, read my thoughts, read my SOPs, and comes up with a set of your processing activities. No, it will not do it for you. Okay. Once you have recorded all these things, you have a simple Excel that you have maintained to record all these processing activities. Essentially, at a point of maturity in your program, then you can have a management solution which will automate these activities, automate the annual reviews that you do for it. So that's wherein your privacy program management or your PMS solutions will come into picture. Now you have a lot of PMS solutions that do the scanning for you, do the data classification for you. But until and unless you are clear in your mind that what you want to achieve, where you want to go, things as simple as okay, what are the drivers, or what are the I would say classifications. Say a particular piece of information, whether I need to classify it as confidential or internal use or public use, that context you'll know. The tool won't. You'll feed
Absolutely.
in
So,
that intelligence.
correct. So
So,
just want to interrupt you here, Divij. Now, yesterday you spoke about doing an impact assessment,
yep,
right? So you're also discovering your processes, you're also discovering where your data is, and then you're also doing an impact assessment, which
there
leads
is
to a risk assessment.
risk.
And
Yes,
then you are
yes,
identifying. So unless and otherwise, those steps are not completed, day one, a privacy management solution may not deliver what it
yes,
is expected to deliver because you don't know what you're going to do, right?
yep.
And the
It,
example you're talking about, data classification, is a good example,
yep.
right?
It's
You
it's
need
not
to
a
understand. Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
it's not a magic wand that will create a castle for you. You need to lay the foundation stones. You need to have that vision, what you want to achieve, and then accordingly, you can opt in for a privacy management solution. But rest assured, yes, at some point in time in your privacy journey, you would require a privacy management solution because things like the cookies and consent management or your universal management or how you respond to your DSRs, your data subject requests, keeping a track of them manually might be a bit taxing.
Absolutely.
Also, it depends on the size of your organization. So that's wherein you would require the privacy management solution. So, like you said, do I need a privacy management solution? Yes. But then you need to see where do you stand in your journey and then invest instead of having something from day one which you might not utilize for 3 months, 6 months, or maybe an year, because you need to uh, tread to a certain maturity to be able to leverage what is available in the technology.
Divij, I have a different question here, right? Now, sometimes it actually would be chicken and egg for some of the organizations. Now, let's
Yep.
say if an organization had started their journey, data privacy management program journey, the day the governments mandated or
Yes.
published or passed the law, then they have
Most
different.
of them, most of them wait for that time.
Correct. So now there are stages, right? The government also publishes and say, hey, the data privacy law has been enacted today in the parliament, and they would have timelines for implementation of different parts of the act.
Yep.
And eventually, it is about a 3 year period which most governments give for organizations to comply. The same is true with the EU AI Act as well. So you have 2 years to adopt and implement. Now, if the organization had started this journey the day the act was legislated, then they have ample time to do all these things. But let's say if the act is coming into full force in another 6 months, then the question is, would you wait for it to be enforced and implement this? At that point in time, in my mind, I would feel that they might be at a breach or they may be non-compliant, right? Because that will lead to gaps in the organization's process. So I guess
totally.
What we're trying to tell people is, go ahead, Divij.
No. What I was saying, yes, I totally get your point. I totally get your intent. But still, like you gave an example of an organization which started their journey as soon as the legislation was out. Yes, they kind of have this liberty to look more deeply into the things and then have that stable and steady path towards maturity vis-a-vis an organization which is just a bit late to the party and he they just have 6 months to ensure compliance. uh, but in most of my experience, I would say, even if that is the scenario and you are starting from scratch, literally zero, then also there will be things, the policies, the stuff that I talked about, that needs to be established first to even leverage the full potential of your privacy management solution.
So what you're saying is, even if you are on the date of full enforcement and you try to implement a tool, you cannot use that as a magic wand for it to do
Yes,
what you're supposed to define in your privacy
yes,
management program.
yep. So that's the thought. So don't consider a privacy management solution to, I think it will be controversial to say that it will do wonders for you, but yes, it will just leverage whatever you would have either implemented or learned during the journey. It will help you go from stage one to say stage two, but then you need to set that stage one.
So, and also it'll minimize your risk. Your
Yep.
exposure will reduce, right? And then the dependencies on people will substantially reduce because you have a process which we are using technology to adopt and
And
follow.
and 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 as the name suggests, it's a privacy management solution. Until unless you aren't aware of what you need to manage, what will the management solution do?
Absolutely. So, Divij, thank you so much for those thoughts. So, for viewers, takeaway is do your impact assessment, right?
Yep.
Understand what your organization data is, what are your processes, and then define what you would prioritize over the others. And then have a clear roadmap before you start adopting various privacy management solution. And what I'm hearing and what I'm also seeing is that there is no one solution will do everything. So please understand what industry vertical you are in, what regulations are you trying to comply? Because today, when you're talking about privacy, you may not be limited to one geography. You may be, cutting across into multiple geographies. So understand the legal requirements and then look at the solution and don't just blindly implement a solution and expect it to do miracles. So with
Yep.
that thought, I invite the viewers to look out for our next episode where we will be talking about what do we do with the data. Right? You have a lot of data. How much is enough? How much to retain? What not to retain are the questions we are going to deliberate. Divij, once again, thank you, and I see you tomorrow
Thanks.
in the
Thanks.
episode.